what that theory basically says is if I perceive the probability of succeeding as very, very low, I will not be motivated to take on that particular task. Or if the end product is not very important for me, I will not take on that task. Okay? So what the implication of this particular theory for us is that the kind of goals we set for ourselves, the kind of goals the administrators set for the professors have to be such that they seem plausible and that they are valued. So let's keep that in mind, i.e. we raise the bar very gradually in terms of what research we need to do. If you set the standards that I suddenly need to start publishing in the top A journals in physics, chemistry, engineering, you will get a lot of backlash, you will get a lot of sarcasm in that particular context. So clearly, setting the bar at a reasonable level will help us in getting there. And I dropped my cheat sheet, so I need to pick it up. This is typical what we do in IITs, right? Take a little cheat sheet with us. Okay. Okay, and finally, I think what would be important, and there are several other points that we can raise over here, is to have a free market for professors. If IIT Kanpur steals the best professor from electronics in IIT Kharagpur and gives that professor higher salary, you are creating a free market for professors. And once a free market is created, the salaries go up accordingly, you will find more and more people starting to do research. So very transparent, clear, personnel policy, procedures, fair, I think are absolutely instrumental in getting research done. Now let me quickly move on to the teaching part, the education part. And I will touch upon 2 points over here. The first point is getting to teach some creativity in our courses, getting students to be creative, getting faculty to allow for creativity in the courses. And the second I would raise over here is quality. So let me tell you about creativity, what I mean, and what I went through. I remember very clearly, this was in my maybe final year of IIT, we had a course on electromagnetic theory. And I was doing 2 plays at that point of time, and I cut almost all the classes in EM theory because they happened to be early in the morning and I would be rehearsing till late in the night. And then when we had the midterm exam, I went to the library, and luckily enough, there was this textbook which the professor was using. Most of us didn't have textbooks, but I got the textbook from the library. I sat in the library for 3 hours. He had covered some 5 or 6 chapters in 7 weeks. I finished those in 3 hours, went for my exam, finished the exam in 60 minutes, and I got out. Now, I'm not a smart guy. The point I'm trying to make over here is what is taught in classes, and a lot of other people have also commented on that, is that you just memorize stuff. And there's a totally different way of teaching when you want to become, or you want your people to become creative. When the internet came along and people started talking bandwidth, I said, gee, I forget what bandwidth really means. It's been a long time since I did pulse-coded modulation and Nyquist criteria, etc. So I went back and I started reading those things and went to Fourier series and amplitude modulation, frequency modulation. So this proves that I did listen a little bit in IIT, right? But as I kept going into it to try and understand what was going on in the internet world, I realized I have to go back to a very fundamental book on physics. And the first chapter in that book related to this area was on electrostatic forces, right? So force is some constant multiplied by Q1 multiplied by Q2. And then it started talking about how to estimate the charge of a particle, and it talked about an oil drop experiment. And then after reading the chapter, I go to the end of the chapter, there were a host of exercises, and all those exercises really meant was estimating force when Q1 and Q2 is given, K is a constant everybody knows about, or some other one variable is unknown, the rest of them are known, you do the math. Where's the creativity in that? Okay, and there was a sentence in that particular chapter which said, as we will see in chapter 15, which is a much later chapter, an atom consists of neutrons, protons and electrons. And I'm sitting there that when this electrostatic area was being researched, nobody knew that an atom was composed of this. How did the mind work for the researchers to do an oil drop experiment? And when you're doing an oil drop, where the heck did oil come from? And how do you know that the oil drop had one particle in there that was charged? I couldn't find any answer. I went back and I did some research and I found that they had first tried it with water, but water evaporated while it was dropping, so there was some confounding in the experiment there. So to cut a long story short, I do not understand why we have closed book exams. I mean, life is not closed book. We should be giving tests where you say, hey, go do this problem, and I don't care if you talk to your uncle or your aunt or your sister or anybody else. I mean, that's where creativity will really start. Right? Okay, and now you guys get the picture. Now let me move on to the quality aspect. And I love all you folks. I'm honored to be over here. But, you know, we guys are a bunch of extremely nice people with huge amount of tolerance for imperfection. Right? It's time. But just this afternoon we were walking back and there were a bunch of people who were talking about, hey guys, we do ready, fire and aim. Right? And if you look at all our service quality, you look at all the product quality, there's a lot of shoddy workmanship, there's a lot of shoddy planning. Our expectations and demand for quality work is very, very low. So if we have to be a global player in any field, let alone education and research, I sort of humbly request that we start becoming more quality conscious. Right? So folks, to summarize, we talked about 3 points. One is the choice of research. 2 is, hey, do some quality and creative teaching, education. And the third one was what? Guys, do you remember? Expectancy Valley.